Hello, I'm Ann Blamter, and welcome to The Blame Show. Have you ever wondered what really goes on in the afterlife? I mean, everyone assumes they're going to heaven. But if that was true, heaven would be full of all the same lily-livered liberals and boring wimps that make our lives such a plague today. And that hardly seems fair to all those people who spend their lives making the world better for the few people who deserve it. You know who you are. So I keep wondering, does God have a separate compound for all those cheese-eating, America-hating, loser-loving traitors? Or do we all have to go to the same parties and eat cheese doodles together? There's only one way to find out. We have to ask. And to do that, I've brought on my special guest tonight, the Reverend Jerry Blamewell, who just happens to be the founder of the Committee for the Preservation and Protection of Life After Death.
That's it.
Welcome, Reverend Jerry.
And thank you for having me as often as possible, Miss Blamter.
You're one of my favorite guests.
I'm probably so different that people don't even notice how obnoxious you are.
I think that we make a nice foil. Let's put it that way.
I think so too.
Now, I understand that you can channel the dead.
Not just channel them, I talk to them.
And how do you do that?
Well, I am a spiritualist. I am the Reverend. Now, we've given up on trying to be Baptist and trying to be any kind of, organized religion at all. So we've just gone off on our own. We are now the tambourine. You thought I might have forgot my tambourine. I never forget my tambourine. Actually, this is an instrument. This is like an antenna, this tambourine. This tambourine, when it's focused right, this tambourine can bring through me, channel through me, just about any entity that I want. I mean, you got to look at life this way. Life is like, in the afterlife, there's like billions of people, billions of souls running around loose. And this tambourine is like the telephone. I'm like, hello, hello, anybody home? Anybody home? Yeah, okay. And I could dial the numbers. Each of these little things, there's a number dial.
Now, can you get specific people, or do we just have to get who's ever hanging around?
Well, I could try to get them if I know their number. I mean, you call them. If they're home, they answer the phone. If they're not, well, then you get whoever you get.
Well, do you think that you could get one of my very favorite people in the world, the great political operative, Lee Atwater?
Lee Atwater?
You could get him for
Whoa,
me?
he was a bad boy, Lee Atwater.
Oh, that's
he
why I
was
like
bad.
him. That's why I like him.
Bad. Now, just a second. I got to say one thing here. I'll try to get him. I'll try to dial his number. I think I might know what it is. But let's just go to one thing. You're going to make a donation to the Tambourine Spiritualist Church?
Of course.
Okay, here we go. Ho, ho, Lee, 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 soul man.
Lee, is that you? Lee,
Wow.
is that you?
You are honey, aren't you?
Wow, Lee.
Wow, you are. Where you from, honey?
I'm from the same town as you.
You're from Columbia?
The town of Winner.
Town of Winners. I'm from Columbia.
Yeah.
I'm from Columbia, North Carolina.
Well, I'm from Columbia. Take everything.
Columbia. You ain't from Columbia University, I hope.
Never.
That's
That's
what I
where
mean.
those pointy elitist snobs live. I would never be from Columbia.
I'm soul man.
Lee, I have to tell you, I'm amazed you look so much better than you did when you were dying of brain cancer.
I got a dispensation.
A dispensation from
Right.
what?
From having to look bad.
Well, you certainly look terrific. You know,
You know
I
how you
have
get
to
that?
tell you how you get that.
You lie.
You lie.
Yeah.
And that was something you were always wonderful at.
That's right.
And are you still good at lying?
Are the best.
I'm so glad to hear that because I was concerned about what happens
I'm
in
soul
the
man.
afterlife.
The what?
Now, in the afterlife, I want to know all about the afterlife. You know, studies have showed that conservatives live 10 years shorter than liberals. And I'm curious about that. Now, is that a reward
Well,
or is that a punishment?
I lived 50 years I live 60 years shorter than my man, Strombo. Mr. Strom Thurmond, he lived 100 years old, and I lived to be 40 years old. And he was a good old boy. I was a good old boy. And, he took me up, man. He was my man. So I would say 150 years, 60 years. Yep, conservative do die young. Conservative do die young.
But why? It doesn't seem fair. They have so much to give the world. You were giving you gave the world really important, the evil empire. You gave the world welfare queens. But I have to tell you, you were such an inspiration to me. But then at the last minute, you went and had that deathbed conversion. Now, do you regret that, or was that just another career move?
I had no choice.
Why?
Well, it was either that or I don't get to play any music.
Why not?
Because when you're dying and they come to you and they say, okay, here's your choices. When you die, you go to the place you wouldn't be caught dead in. And the place I wouldn't be caught dead in was Harvard or any other Ivy League school.
Absolutely.
I'm a UNC boy myself. And I thought to myself, okay, I wouldn't be caught dead there. So I said, what do I have to do? And they said, well, you got to do the sweep up. I said, what's the sweep up? The sweep up in Muddy Waters Blues Bar. I said, that's not so bad. He says, except you're going to be the old white boy they feel sorry for because you got no education and you got no nothing. I said, well, I'll take that because I can listen to the music. And they said, well, you actually can't listen to the music. You're just going to constantly be playing a stringless electric guitar and making believe that you are Sam and Dave and Mr. Muddy. And that's what I've been doing for 30 years or 20 years, or I'll be doing it for eternity. I'm so man.
Why? But why? Why?
Is this
a punishment? What is this? Why?
It was better than going to the Ivy League school.
Wow. So they give you a choice.
They did me.
They give you a choice because you did your deathbed conversion. Was
and
that
that's
why?
but that's part of it.
But now, even though you
It
had
gets
that
worse.
conversion, what?
Much worse.
What's worse? What could be worse?
I have to be a Democrat.
Oh my God!
You don't
Oh
know.
my God! That's terrible.
You don't know what that's like.
But isn't there any way out of this? Listen, you know what? Even as a Democrat, you can do lots of damage. You could still do all of your dirty tricks as a Democrat. Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you do your dirty tricks as a Democrat?
That's the whole
There's nothing
point.
that says that Democrats can't do dirty tricks too.
That's the whole point.
What's the whole point?
Democrats, they do dirty tricks to each other.
But is that bad?
They don't know how to do them to anybody else.
You're right. You're right. Well, now when you come back, do you hate people? And who do you hate?
Well, you know what? This is kind of a bad thing too.
Yeah,
You know Strom's daughter?
I do.
She's a lovely woman.
Yes.
Every so often,
Yeah.
I get stuffed into her couch, and her whole family sit on me.
But this is so unfair. I mean, you were the greatest political operative of all time. You have spawned a whole industry of negative campaigning and race baiting and slander mongering. I mean, that's an awful fate for you.
Well, let me tell you something. If I could, like I said in my deathbed conversion, I wouldn't do it again. You know why?
Why?
There's nothing worse than playing this same song without any strings.
I have to say, it is a rather awful song.
Just be good, honey. Just be good.
Be good.
Just be good. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm not allowed to tell you where you're going after death. But I'll tell you one thing.
What?
You better learn how to serve someone.
Oh.
I'm so bad.